Tuesday night hoops inside of ExtraMile Arena. It's a great non-conference matchup set for you. North Texas from the American, Boise State, and in the Mountain West. Welcome courtside alongside KTVB's own Jay Tuss, former Broncos sharpshooter Nick Duncan. My name is Chris Lewis. Boise State's been on the road for a while, 23 days between home games. So, Jay, I imagine Boise State happy to be back at home.
Yeah, the Broncos have shot well below their standards from the field so far this season. I imagine getting back on the friendly home court rims might help them. Either way, 16 straight wins here at ExtraMile Arena, the 6th longest active home winning streak in all of college basketball.
And tonight, the Broncos play a hard matchup against University of North Texas. Their scoring defense over the last 2 years ranked number 1, allowing 55.7 points. And to start the season, they're ranked 6, allowing 56.7 points per game.
It'll certainly be a home test for Boise State. As we take a look at the series history head-to-head, 10th all-time meeting between these teams, but the first since 2009 in a game Boise State won 79-73. The Broncos have never lost to the Mean Green here in Boise. Now, the Broncos last time out, coming off of an impressive showing, maybe their best performance of the season, and a balanced win against St. Mary's.
3 players in the double-digit range for points, led by Tyson Degenhardt with 17 points. And Leon this year has really gone to the bench. He's played 10 players, all but 1 game to start the season.
I don't know how often that's happened here at Boise State. 22 total points off the bench, and a true freshman contributing in double figures. That's going to make this Boise State team dangerous this year.
63-60 was the final. Boise State now 16-4 all time against the West Coast Conference. So Boise State looking to keep that going against North Texas in a matchup of 2 of the better defenses in college basketball over the last couple of seasons. Will be a great one here at ExtraMile. Tip-off is next. Promises to be another great crowd in Boise for a Tuesday night battle. North Texas from the American Conference, Ruben Jones, the lead guard who's been playing really well over the last 4, 16 assists to just 2 turnovers. Boise State starting 5. Jay, what stands out to you?
Omar Stanley back in the starting lineup for a 2nd straight game. Also, Jace Whiting going to get the start at that point guard position. Boise State's really going to have to take care of the basketball tonight. Jace only has 6 turnovers on the season, has never turned it over more than once in a single game this year, Chris.
2 great defensive teams head-to-head, North Texas, Boise State. Michael Reed, Eric Curry, Marquez Pettigrew, 3 officials underway. North Texas opening possession, and here is Ruben Jones. And North Texas is a team that controls pace, and by pace, I mean a snail's pace. One of the slowest teams in college basketball over the past couple of seasons. Bugs misses a 3, back out top. Jones won't fall. Rebound tipped, last touch by Abo for Boise State. It'll stay here with North Texas.
That might be slow, but ranked 4th in deliberate offense last year with 62 possessions per 40 minutes. But it might be slow, but they do a lot with the ball whilst they have it.
Nick, what's it like as a defender when the other team has the ball for like 25 seconds at a time?
Oh, it's a long possession. Gets you tired, and you want to make sure you get those offensive rebounds. As you see there, Nolan getting to the bucket, but you want to make sure you get those defensive rebounds on those long possessions.
So C.J. Nolan breaks the seal in this game about 40 seconds in. Nolan, who averages just a shade over 8 points per game. Boise State on offense, 68 points per game so far this season. 3-point percentage, though, below 30% on the year. Trying to get that aspect to their game going against a good defense. Degenhardt Jr. down the right side of the lane, misses short. North Texas pulls the rebound. That is Mulai Sissoko, the Dayton transfer. Jones keeping the defense on his hip and finishes with the left hand. So Ruben Jones averages 11 points per game, made the All-Conference USA defense team last year.
You mentioned how good this North Texas team is on defense. Talking with Mike Burns, the defensive guru for Boise State, he said the way they prepare to attack North Texas on offense is kind of similar to how they attacked Texas A&M last year. That was a good game for Boise State. We'll see if they can utilize that game plan effectively again here tonight.
Always good to have an opponent that plays similarly, even if you have to go back in the calendar to a previous season. Nolan on the wing. Sissoko will take the 15-footer and bury it. Stanley was giving it to him, and Sissoko said, I'll take it. 6-0 North Texas. Boise State coming off of that 3-point win against St. Mary's. Got off to a great start in that game. Led it 11-0. This game behind on the scoreboard 6-0. Rice trying to find his offensive rhythm in the early going. Had a slow start to the season a couple of years ago before finding his footing in conference play. Whiting has it ripped. Nolan gets the steal. Running with Bugs. Nolan to the rim. Won't fall, but what a follow by Scott.
You see the defense to start the game. See the bench up. They take pride in their defense. You can see their defense lead to offense. And, boy, North Texas coming out strong to start the first half.
An 8-0 lead. Aaron Scott, team leader in scoring. Stanley back to the basket. Shot clock down to 10, defended by Sissoko. Stanley spins, floats, won't drop. As Sissoko vacuums up the rebound. Crowd wanted to travel. He never had possession established.
That was close. You get in a battle like this with these North Texas teams. I know it's early. I know it's only 8-0. But the way they play defense, you get out to these double-digit leads potentially, it's going to feel like you're down way more than that.
Yeah, it'll suffocate you with the defense. Shot clock under 10, but North Texas comfortable with the shot clock down late. Loose ball, Bugs picks it up, clock down to 3. Has to look up and see, takes a step back 3. Front of the rim, Abo boards. Boise State 0 for 3 to start. Rice, step back, wants 3. Again won't fall. There's a lid. Abo finishes in traffic on the second chance.
One way to get on the board. Boards there by Abo, averaging 6 rebounds. And sometimes when you're making those threes, as they have to start the season, only 27% from the three-point line, it's how you create some offense and some points, crashing the glass.
North Texas coming off of a win against Mississippi Valley State. Controlled that game from the opening tip. Jones floater, back of the rim. Stanley secures. Jace Whiting with the keys to the point guard spot. Dagenhart turns it over. Here's Reuben Jones out of Houston. Scott, 14 a contest. Long strides for the wing. Muscle up the layup. There come the Broncos in transition. Rare to get opportunities in transition against North Texas. Abo knocks it down. All 5 for Boise State to start.
Shooting the ball well this year. Obviously, last year led the Broncos with 42% from the three-point line. A little slower start as the whole Boise State team has this year, but 10 from 30 now, 11 from 31, shooting just over 34%.
I'm really excited about the prospectus of Abo's senior season here at Boise State. I'll remind you, he still has another year of eligibility to do that COVID year, but he's been really good to start this season so far.
Aaron Scott as well has been excellent for North Texas. Tough fadeaway. Guy's a shooter. We saw Scott's athleticism on the dunk, but this is a guy over his last 17 games dating back to last year, shooting about 50% from 3. Dagenhart chisels some space inside.
Just when you need a basket, they go to their main man, Tyson Dagenhart. They got to get him going as well as Max to start this game. Obviously, first shot from Tyson, but really got to rely on their experience against this tough defense from the Mean Green.
I feel like with the name Mean Green, you just got to be a defensive team. Like, that's
you have to, right?
It's right in. Scott, mid-range, front iron. Rebound, Bugs, got a ball on it. North Texas keeps possession, stumbling on the baseline, and they give it away. Scott couldn't keep his balance. Boise State possession, but a long ball for the Broncos. Shabuzo Abo, the first Boise State 3. Welcome back to Boise. Early first half action, North Texas. Early 3-point lead. Jay and Nick, your keys to the game for both teams.
Yeah, looking at North Texas, I mean, this is a team in their conference that has really established himself year after year of being a contender in that league. Keep it rolling for that matter. I know that it's simple, but momentum is so key. It helps with, early season struggles potentially, but keep it rolling, build that momentum. They've been great lately. And then for Boise State, I mentioned earlier, trying to attack North Texas on defense. They can't over-penetrate because if they do, that North Texas defense will collapse on them, start creating turnovers. They thrive off of turnovers.
Almost a turnover at midcourt as Roddy Anderson into the game for the first time, the sophomore out of Huntington Beach, California. Rice off a screen. Dagenhart pops, triggers a three, misses left. Battle for the rebound. Seems like every loose ball contested in the early going.
They play hard. You can see the defense just pressuring the Boise State offense out beyond the three-point line, really creating tough shots and hard for the Broncos to get in their offense.
Reuben Jones a little long, and Anderson gets some space for the rebound.
Leon Rice continues to kind of play with that point guard position. Roddy Anderson started earlier in the year. Jace Whiting started these last few games, still trying to figure it out there.
And having that point guard position in flux perhaps leads to a little bit more turnovers, which you guys have mentioned was a key to this game. Dagenhart pointing to his chest saying, my bad. 7 minutes in, North Texas leads by 3.
You see the pressure here, all up and in him, forcing this turnover. Couple for the game here, and Mean Green doing a great job on offense, turning turnovers into points.
The Mean Green head coach, Ross Hodge, first-year coach. Brett McCaslin going over to Texas Tech, leaving the keys to the longtime assistants. Anderson gets another rebound, runs the open floor. And one of the things that Coach Rice mentioned to us, shoot around, was the fact that, hey, he knows he has the returners, Abo being one of them, takes the three, a little long. Martin gets the rebound. Off the bench and scoops it in. Cam Martin. Kansas transfer. Broncos within 1.
This is a guy that had over 2,000 points at the Division II level. Transferred to Kansas. Hasn't played a ton of games lately. Yeah. I think as the season goes along, you're going to see Cam continue to get better and better.
His 4th stop. You see a lot of players these days with their 4th collegiate stop, which seems impossible. Great rebound underneath, but then an extra step. Robert Allen, who was a board magnet off the bench. By that time, a travel. Boise State trying to get back in it with Martin. Boise State has answered with 7 in a row of their own.
Broncos really hitting the glass, trying to create second chance opportunities, and obviously starting the season slow from the three-point line as a percentage, but with this stingy defense, they're just got to continue to move the ball, get it through hands, and try to set these players up with some good shots. And with Max Rice having a slow start this season, I assume Leon and the coaching staff really want to get him involved here.
Yeah, Boise State only 1 bucket on their first 6 possessions. They have 3 in their last 5 possessions. They've cut this deficit just down to 1 now. 3 of their 4 field goals made, all right inside the paint.
And Jay, you were talking about earlier how Coach Rice still looking for that right combination, the rotation of what he wants against this difficult non-conference schedule. North Texas fitting right into that mix. Back-to-back baskets in the interior for Cam Martin. Boise State has their first lead.
5 field goals made, 4 layups for the Broncos. They've struggled, as we've mentioned a number of times, to shoot it. That's how you build some confidence. Nice play there by Roddy to poke that one away.
Allen lost it. Abo transition, throws it off the backboard, draws the foul.
We do talk about the depth of this Boise State men's basketball team, and in my 13 years of covering this squad, never before has Leon Rice had a roster that he will push 9, 10, even 11 deep at times. I assume if you want to really effectively utilize these rotations that they're capable of, you kind of just have to trust the process, try things, see how they work, and then eventually you'll establish your rhythm.
With this depth that Leon really hasn't had in his tenure here at Boise State, he's going to play some guys to see who connects, the vibe of the team, and as you see Omar starting over Cam Martin recently. Jace Whiting coming in, starting over Anderson as well. He's really just toying with it and seeing what matchups really play well out there.
It is a long season, too, so to have different players be able to feel comfortable stepping into roles. Coach Rice was talking about how whether it's illnesses in December, which it always feels like every year in a college basketball season, every team's affected by illness in December, or just injuries, it is a luxury to have comfortable depth.
Well, they haven't really scheduled in a way that would really allow them to freely test some of these lineups against maybe lesser competition. You look at the teams they went out on the road and played against, my goodness, many of them are going to wind up in the NCAA tournament. We might be watching Boise State play an NCAA tournament caliber team tonight, so it's going to take some time, but the tests are awfully difficult at this point.
This is the end of a stretch of 7 straight against the KenPom top 102. Difficult runner gets the roll. What a shot by Jason Edwards at a Dodge City College. This guy's a former junior college All-American who's come to North Texas and has put up numbers off the bench. Ball hit the rim. Edwards a little out of control. Or Anderson, excuse me, out of control. Nolan stops and bops for 3 and buries it. C.J. Nolan. And a timeout, Boise State.
Timeout, Boise State.
So Nolan, a 35% three-point shooter from just outside of Dallas, knocks down a 3 to give North Texas a 2-point lead.
Gosh, what a game of runs. North Texas bursts out of the gate, an 8-0 run. The Broncos work their way back in, take a 13-10 advantage. Now a quick 5-0 run by the Mean Green has North Texas back out in front.
Yeah, Nolan, guy who was a high school football tight end in Texas. You know, that level of competitiveness. In fact, he had an offer to play college football at Baylor, decided basketball was the route, started his career at Oklahoma a couple of years there. And for Nolan, his first year at North Texas. Mean Green and the blue of Boise State going at it. Boise State possession out of the timeout. Max Rice back in. Wagenhart being fronted in the post, can't get it. Andrew Meadow, who just came on. Meadow has it knocked away. That's that forcing turnovers for North Texas. It's been a theme early in this game, but Sissoko stumbles, and it's a turnover on the Mean Green.
Just relentless on the defense here. Nolan, 5 steals in the last 2 games. Already racked up a couple of steals here. Unfortunate slip on the court for the travel, but we've had 10 minutes of it. We've got another 30 left of this relentless defense.
Boise State's got to do a better job taking care of the basketball. Already 5 turnovers. Puts them on pace for 20 in the game. That's not going to fly if they want to beat North Texas tonight.
Anderson hits. Roddy Anderson's 4th made 3 of the year in 14 attempts. And Boise State is back in front by 1.
You know, you look at Roddy's numbers so far, they don't look overly impressive, but he is a really confident kid. I expect some of that to turn itself around really quick, Nick.
Absolutely. And you see San Diego last year in assists, as we see still here by Cam Martin, but Boise State doing a great job of finding the open player. As soon as they say that, another turnover, number 6 for the game.
Cross-court pass intercepted, so both teams catching the turnover bug. 3-on-2, Rice scoops off the rim. Man, the struggles early in the season continue for Max Rice.
Can't buy a bucket. Gosh, good look and out on the break, right at the rim, rolls right off of it. He's another guy, though, that has a supreme confidence. Only a matter of time before Max Rice breaks out. We're just going to have to wait a little longer for that to happen.
The confidence of a coach's son
Absolutely.
Never relents. Sissoko, Martin, locking horns in the post. Shot clock winding down. He did not get that one off. Martin held strong on the block. North Texas giveaway.
We mentioned about Max Rice, slow start to the season. He had a similar start last year, starting 1 from 26 to start the year, under 5%. Obviously, ended the year with much better numbers, shooting above 40% from the three-point line. So I assume he's going to have a similar season to last year where he's going to warm up. And I assume the coach is going to try and set him up, getting some open looks, get his season rolling.
They need him to be a dude if Boise State's going to make it back to a third straight NCAA tournament. Really quick, North Texas took care of the ball pretty well early. 4 turnovers, though, in the last 4 minutes.
Speaking of 4, potential 4-point play in the corner. Abo. And that's his signature more than a few times last season. Corner threes, drawing the contact, burying the shots.
He has such a high release, and guys get into him, and he's still able to get it off. I don't know how many of those he had last year, Chris, but that is kind of like his forte.
The 4-point play potential. Foul on John Buggs. Just a shooter with an NBA type of build. Perfect on the free throw.
He's got a game-high 11 points. It's the 10th time, the 9th time in his career he's hit double figures by halftime as a Bronco.
And right now defending on the ball against Nolan. Boise State's largest lead at 5. Jones in the paint, slices through. Reuben Jones. Will be fun to watch him in the American Conference.
Gosh, you look up, 8 minutes to go in the first half. It's a 2017 ball game. This one really kind of going as we expected prior to tip-off.
Degenhart from distance, back of the rim. This is the 3rd time in this game a North Texas player slipped trying to get a rebound. That time Scott. He looks to be okay. Jones draws help. Nolan attacks, pivots, spins, hook shot off rights. And possession, I believe, will belong to Boise State up next. 3 ball for 4 points. Abo from the corner. Abo, big part of Boise State building their 3-point lead. He has a game-high 11 points. You can see the Boise State football team. They were honored during this most recent break. They're at ExtraMile Arena where the Broncos have won 16 straight. But Jay, I know you covering Boise State football for KTVB. It was a wild ride for the Boise State football team this year to somehow be the Mountain West champions.
Absolutely magical. You know, Boise State's sports information director, Patrick Walsh, looked up this stat. They had a 0.1% chance of playing in the Mountain West Conference Championship game 4 weeks ago, and as you just saw right there, they are hoisting the trophy here at center court at the basketball game. I mean, what they've been able to do is nothing short of remarkable. Their new head coach, Spencer Danielson, deserves a lot of credit for rallying the troops and having a positive energy as they made that run.
Feel like he got a little more than credit. He got a little bit of debit too with the promotion to now being the full-time head coach.
Yeah, they announced him yesterday just across the way in the Stucco Sky Center as the new head coach. And the good news continue today. Ashton Genty saying that he is, quote, a Bronco for life. He wants to run it back with Boise State. Such a talented kid. We live in a new college sports era with NIL and the transfer portal. And now he's going to remain a Bronco. That is tremendous news for Boise State football. Best running back in the country.
Okay, there you go. Have a tape. Put it out there.
I second that.
I believe in it. I believe in it.
It was certainly a treat to watch, unless you were a fan of a Mountain West defense that was facing him. Shot clock at 5. Jones, front of the rim, out of the stoppage. It was North Texas that got the ball out of the last break. The ball was off the hands of Boise State, but now the Broncos have possession, their 3-point lead. Backdoor goes King, gets it on the rim.
Beautiful pass there by Omar. You can see the Broncos just starting to move that ball around, try to shift that defense, got a few three-pointers in the corner, shifting that ball, and I think the Mean Green really love the ball in one hand, one spot, putting pressure on, but I think the Broncos are starting to move that ball, creating holes in the North Texas defense.
Nolan, great pass into the paint. Robert Allen, Ole Miss transfer, his 6th year. A whistle down the floors. A couple of bodies battling on the baseline. How's that for alliteration? As Whiting was bringing the ball up. Stanley's the one who picks up the foul.
Stanley's kind of been in foul trouble in each of the last 3 games. He's been fouled out against St. Mary's. I know that Boise State wants to keep him out of foul trouble. They need him in this game tonight.
Wow. That was not a lot of contact early in the possession, but
Like that happens a lot every time you come down the court.
just not that time. Not allowed. Allen again whips it. Left wing, Broncos defense rotates. Teardrop shot, no, but a foul. Jason Edwards hits the deck, and he'll head to the free throw line.
Broncos trying to force the pick and roll defense towards the baseline there. You can see Edwards doing a great job trying to get back to the middle of the court there, and Omar Stanley out of position, creating the foul and going to the line for 2.
So, Jay, you brought up how Stanley at times can be a magnet for fouls. 1 on each side of the court in the last couple of possessions.
You talk to some of the players on his team, members of the coaching staff, they all liken him to Najee Smith from last year. That is superior when it comes to a compliment. It doesn't get much higher than that. Najee was an incredible character on this team, made so many high-energy, high-effort plays. That's the type of guy that they need to come along for them if they do want to continue to compete for Mountain West Conference titles and NCAA tournament bids.
It was a guy that you just couldn't take out of the starting lineup.
Absolutely.
Coach Rice tried to at times, a couple of times to take him out, because the team always played better with him in it. Allen muscles it up and in. Robert Allen, 3 years at Ole Miss, 2 at Samford in Alabama. This is his 1st year, now his 6th year overall, 1st at North Texas.
Turnover number 8 for the Broncos, leading to points for North Texas. And see this defense just getting up and in him, and 8 turnovers in 15 minutes to start. And now we see another one, number 9, just being careless with the ball.
Allen active on defense. He's from Orlando. Jones chisels. Gets some space, puts the ball back on the floor, not allowed to do that. That's a double dribble. Boise State brings on a couple of new bodies. Max Rice, starter, back in, and Roddy Anderson also checking back in to take over the ball handling responsibilities from Jace Whiting. Anderson has the quicks, stops to dribble. Rice pump fakes. Degenhart looks. Anderson back to Degenhart. Perimeter passing. Rice, no. Great chase of a rebound for Aaron Scott. Saves the possession. Layup in traffic past Abo. Great job by Edwards.
Spoke about the Mean Green maybe being the slowest offensive team in the nation, but tonight they've really turned their turnovers straight into offense and really attacking the rim there.
Yeah, 9 fast break points already for North Texas. It happened again.
Abo fouled, firing a three-pointer.
Just mentioned his motion in his shot, and I mean, you're absolutely correct. Compared to Max Rice, that brings it down a little lower, but it is so hard to block shots, as you see here. That just brings it so high up above the head. See second foul on the three-point line for Abo.
He's already closing in on his scoring average for the season at 13 points per game. That's 12 for him. You know, you look at Chibuzo and you compare his physique to last year. I mean, you can tell how aggressive he approached the offseason. Talked with their trainer, Tyler Whitmer, said that, Chibuzo really took care of his diet. He lived in the weight room, and now he is really reaping the benefits of it. He said, Chris, that somebody on North Texas' squad had an offer to play football. I bet you Spencer Danielson, he's here tonight looking at Chibuzo being like, man, he'd be one heck of a tight end.
Yes, apparently on the trip that Boise State had to the East Coast this year, they had to pretty much lock Abo out of the weight room. Even on game days, he wanted to lift, and so the staff was like, hey, wait a minute, got to be disciplined with this. Can't have you tire out this early in the season.
It isn't it is an interesting shift in his mindset though, because at one point in time, some players, they don't want to lift in season because they're worried about being sore. But if you do it right, gosh, does it allow you to sustain things and maintain a certain level of physical peak throughout the season that can allow you to withstand this long run.
Nick, any truth to the rumor that lifting weights makes your arms weigh differently and it's tougher on a shooter that way?
Yeah, I tried to stick out of the weight room during the season, but I definitely agree with that.
Another offensive board. That's the 7th of the game for North Texas.
Martin and Sissoko battling. Tie up. Arrow brings the ball down with Boise State's locked at 24 in a competitive first half. Bench scoring. Boise State's depth has been a theme so far this season.
Boise State averaging 22 points off the bench this year. Scored 20-plus points in each of the last 3 games from the bench. And as we mentioned, 10-plus plays seeing the court for the Broncos. Obviously, that ball getting spread around, but with some of the slow starts with Max Rice to start the year, some of these bench players are really stepping up to start the season.
This program really wants to take that next step, right? Last year, their key guys, Max Rice, Tyson Degenhardt, Chibuzo Abo, all those guys were right up near the top of the Mountain West in minutes played per game. And I feel like it really takes a wear and tear when it comes down to the end of November, or the end of February and the beginning of March, when you really want to be at your best. And by maybe having some rotations where you can stretch that depth early in the season, maybe it makes them fresher late in the season.
Nolan glides to the rim and gets the touch and a foul.
Speak about Nolan having 5 steals in the last 2 games, 4 steals in the first half.
Wow.
Bringing that defensive energy here, just right up in the lane. See a strong take here, straight to the bucket, foul, and 1. So this is basketball, mean green, through and through.
That shoot around, Boise State emphasized taking care of the ball more than any other theme today. At some point, yelling out, hey, they won't force any turnovers if you don't give them any. Well, North Texas has taken them. And off the missed free throw, they get an offensive rebound.
Back in practice, Leon, we did the fundamentals, jump stop, passing, everything like that. 11 turnovers average for the season, already 10 to start the game tonight.
Gosh, another offensive rebound, too. That's 9 now that North Texas has been able to corral off the offensive glass.
Nolan wants 3. Give him 3. CJ Nolan, 10 points.
See the confidence just running through Nolan right now with the steals leading to offense and now hitting a tray ball, 2 from 2 for the game.
Going to be a battle of who has the last drought with these defenses going head-to-head. Abo connects and a foul. The 3rd time in this game he's been fouled on a 3.
Got to be a record, right?
That's got to be. Chris, you call 50 basketball games a year. Have you ever seen
Abo,
3 times in a game?
I believe Abo did something similar last year, second half against UNLV. I think it was something like in Vegas. Of course, I called that game in Vegas. 3 threes he was fouled on in the second half of that game. It connected on at least a couple of them, too. He hits this one. Chibuzo Abo, 17 points, 3 of 4 from 3, 6 of 7 from the free throw line in this half. Now, Nick, how often were you fouled on 3s? Can you remember, was it a count on 1 hand type of thing, count on 2 hands?
1 hand.
Hands
I
and toes?
didn't get much love from the refs. I don't think I got far off the ground to get fouls.
Got to have that elevation, I guess. Right?
I think you do.
How many times you complain for a foul?
Many, many times. I know these refs right here at this game, I think they must remember me.
Saw you talking to Eric Curry a little bit before the game.
Yeah, at this point in time, just find Chibuzo Abo, let him go.
Gets bumped on the perimeter, so why not? 15 foul on North Texas, so still 1 more to give before free throws. 2:15 left in the first. Martin screens for Degenhardt. North Texas comfortable switching. They deny the post-entry pass to Martin. Aaron Scott around the big body of Martin.
They just give you the sense of security there on defense that sometimes that pass might be open, but they're quick to close that gap, get hands, deflections, leading to turnovers, and see that time and time again.
Anderson glides in. Great hands. Edwards strong to rip that away. That's part of the reason why North Texas, over the last couple of seasons, the best scoring defense. And then a foul, though, back on this end. How about those hands?
Again, you think you got a wide open layup, no one in front of you, and see Edwards there playing from behind, getting two hands on, strong, jumping on the floor right there. And you can see the North Texas bench. They're up and at it on the defensive end. A lot of teams strive for offensive end, but you can just see the energy there. They want to make plays. They want to get deflections. They want to get turnovers that lead to their offensive end.
I mean, this is what North Texas does, right? They play good defense. They force turnovers. But, Nick, you've been in the locker room with Leon Rice before. You turn the ball over 11 times and a half. You're -7 on the boards. What's his attitude going to be like?
All I know is I wouldn't want to be going into that locker room. So you see Tyson on the other end creating a turnover.
This has the potential to make him feel better. Dagenhart and a foul. Rice gets credit for the assist.
See a recipe there of North Texas creating turnovers into offense, but I know Leon's going to go into that locker room a bit upset with the turnovers, especially, you have 2-3 main emphasis going into games, things to focus on, and one of those aren't emphasized too much, especially in the first half, over their turnover average for the season. There'll be some words in the locker room, I'm sure.
And Boise State, they still lead this game despite, being deficient in a couple of key areas.
You rarely see a team as both squads battle on the deck. Arrow will give it to North Texas. Ruben Jones first on the floor. We rarely see a team and a half with more turnovers and missed field goals. That's kind of what Boise State's doing. 53% shooting, which you'll sign up for when you walk into a gym. Only missed 9 shots, but you've turned it over 11 times, right, and it feels like you have so many empty possessions.
When your turnover percentage is close to your scoring percentage on possessions, you're right, Chris. That does look a little awkward.
As you mentioned, Chris, being up 1 point with 11 turnovers, it's got to be somewhat of a win because they'll be able to re-energize in the locker room and come out and put a major focus on that turnover and knowing that they're still in the game even though they've let up in the first half.
North Texas, the second best road winning percentage in the nation over the last 3 seasons. Can't get the 3 at the top of the arc. And then you have Boise State, who's won 16 games in a row at home. That's tied for the 6th longest home winning streak in the country. So strength on strength, but it's another Boise State turnover.
Yeah, something's got to give there, Chris. You're right. First true road game from North Texas this season. They battled 3 neutral site contests so far, 1 and 2 in those games, but they are giving Boise State everything they can handle early on tonight at ExtraMile Arena.
I mean, that was jaw-dropping when I read that note. The second best road winning percentage in the country over a 3-season span. For perspective, the team that they're ahead of directly, that's number 3, is Gonzaga.
Wow.
Better than Gonzaga over that stretch.
I mean, defense travels, right?
Exactly. Couple of tough runners inside, missed by each squad, and a timeout called by Coach Ross Hodge with a shot clock, game clock nearly the same. North Texas will hold for 1, down 1.
Nick, how big is this possession, right? Boise State gets a stop. They go into the locker room with a lead. I know it's only by 1 point. You might be down by 1 point, but how big is it to feel the momentum of having a lead as you go into the locker room?
It's obviously huge getting into the game and heading into the locker room, especially turning the ball over a ton compared to what they want. So they got to lock down, play some great defense. Obviously, they relied on that a lot last year. You can see bits and pieces of that this year, but they're going to have to lock down, see if they can get a stop, and they'll be pretty happy heading into the locker room with a slight lead.
It's the kind of game we expected. I don't know. At least I expect. I never want to speak for you guys. You guys have your minds.
I'm right there with you, man. I'm right there with you.
Thought it'd be ugly. Thought it'd be lower pace, lower scoring. It's actually a faster pace than I would have thought. But the point total is right around where you would have thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a few more fast break points. I don't think I would have expected 18 combined out on the break in this entire game.
Jones and Abo by the nose of that Bronco head, middle of the floor. Jones so good at taking care of the ball. Has it on a string. Yo-yos with the left. Pop to Scott. Rise and fire. Too strong. Whiting the board. 1 second left. Doesn't shoot it. Saves the field goal percentage. And that'll do it for the first 20 minutes. Fun, competitive game. Both teams showing their strengths. And after the first half, it's Boise State with a 30-29 lead. Boise State finished the first half scoring the last 6 points. They had the 30-29 lead over North Texas out of the American Athletic Conference. At halftime, Boise State boosted by Chibuzo Abo, who erupted in that first half. So, Nick, I feel like I have to bring it to you. When you have a player in Abo who's a sharpshooter, you had some runs in your Boise State career where you were feeling it from deep.
When you get that feeling of a couple going in, you just got to continue to find him. 3 from 4 from the three-point line, obviously highlighted by those few three-point shots with fouls. But when Agbo goes 15 points or more in a game, Broncos 11-4, with 2 of those losses being in small-digit numbers as well. But he has that tendency to really have that outburst in games, scoring nine times in the 20-point range last year. And he's that type of player you can really see. Once he gets that energy going, sees that ball goes through the hoop, he's going to continue to go at him, have that confidence. As you see tonight, 17 points in the first half.
Yeah, really putting the Broncos on his back offensively. The rest of the team, only 1 of 6 from 3. He's 3 of 4 from 3, 17 points. The rest of the team only has 13 points. Chibuzo Abo showing that he has taken his game to another level this season.
Well, North Texas has a player in a rhythm as well, and C.J. Nolan turning his defense into offense.
5 steals to start the game, and that's really led to him getting that confidence on the offensive end, as we see here. Great steal and a strong bucket for the and one, but although he's only averaging 8.1 points per game, he's done a great job on the offensive end, hitting the tray ball, really getting the mean green going.
I think a big thing that stands out for me, North Texas has attempted 11 more shots than Boise State in this game. The Broncos got to do a better job on the glass in the second half, especially cleaning it up on their defensive end. 10 offensive rebounds for North Texas. If you look at Leon Rice's era here at Boise State, yeah, you can find stats that if they shoot it well, they win, but it's really the rebound battle. If they win the rebound battle in the Leon Rice era, they're nearly unbeatable to win. They got some work to do in the second half.
Well, a guy who's been unbeatable so far is Spencer Danielson. He's the one who's talking to this crowd, the new head coach of Boise State football. Crowd listening with bated breath. We'll be back at ExtraMile Arena after this. The crowd still buzzing from the message of Spencer Danielson, the new head coach for Boise State football. You can see a lot of them still haven't sat down yet. Halftime has been entertaining at ExtraMile Arena for the Bronco fans in attendance. Boise State and North Texas playing a pretty competitive basketball game as well. As you take a look at the halftime stats, take a look at Boise State shooting 50%, 40% from 3, 75% from the line. The issue, the turnovers, you see that at the bottom there, 12 turnovers. Although North Texas also giving it away quite a bit.
Yeah, kind of a game of runs there, too, in the first half. North Texas starts on an 8-0 run. Boise State fights back with a 13-2 run to take the lead. A number of those small little bursts. Boise State used that late 6-0 run in the final 2:51 of that first half to take this 1-point lead into the break.
I think both teams, obviously, turnovers 11 and 12, 23 combined. Both head coaches are going to be in there talking about ways to protect the ball, make sure that their passes get into where they are. As you can see, North Texas really getting the lane. Although it may look like the passing lane's there, they're really jumping the gap. But I think Boise State's going to take at least a positive vibe that they're up 1 point, 12 turnovers. Keep giving the ball to Arbo, I say.
Well, Jay, we were talking during the stoppage about Spencer Danielson. I wanted to kind of bring that discussion to the air, too, because it is a feed here. It's the first time that the Boise State football head coach meeting the fans as the full-time now head coach. And, again, you cover the football team as well as anybody has. not just this season, but for a while. So what makes him, in your perspective, the right guy at the right time?
Gosh, Chris, I can boil this down to one answer. So many times Jeremiah Dickey said it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when Spencer Danielson would become a head football coach. So I asked Spencer Danielson one time, how does he prove that when is now? And he said, I'm not out to prove anything to anyone. I'm just going to pour into my players. Love is an action. I'm going to be a man of action, and you saw it all play out on the field. They go 3-0 with him in charge and win a Mountain West Conference championship, and now he earns that permanent title of being a Boise State head football coach.
Will be exciting to see the offseason before Boise State football takes the field. Boise State basketball takes the court coming up. Back at ExtraMile Arena, getting ready for the second half. Boise State leads North Texas by 1. Take a look at the road of the non-conference. Both of these teams will start on the side of Boise State. And we've talked about it a couple of times throughout. This is the last game, Nick, of a stretch of 7 straight for Boise State against KenPom top 102 teams. Talk about a grueling non-conference stretch.
Net ranking was 79 and the 4th hardest in the nation. Speaking of Leon Rice earlier in the year, and they did this on purpose. They wanted to have substance at the end of the year in March when the committee looks at their schedule and their scheduling, and you can see there some great teams. Virginia Tech, VCU, Butler, and doesn't get any easier heading into Cal State, Fullerton, and Washington State as well at their place.
One guy that deserves a lot of credit for putting the schedule together, Mike Burns. When they hired him a few years ago, he came in. This guy has an endless list of contacts, is able to schedule these opponents that really help their net rankings, their RPI, all that stuff come March Madness.
Well, North Texas, their first-year head coach, Ross Hodge, has this schedule. Now, this is their first real road game of the season. Then they continue their stretch away from home with games against Fordham and Mississippi State before they get ready for their first year in the American Conference.
Maybe scheduling road games is actually a strategy for them, though, Chris, considering how good they are on the road, right?
No doubt, no doubt. One of the best road winning percentages, second best in the country over the last 3 seasons. Second half starts next. Boise State basketball, both men and women's hoops, have a couple of OGs on the sideline leading the way. The longest tenured head coach in the Mountain West for both men's basketball and women's basketball is, of course, Leon Rice, who's directing that huddle for men's hoops. Gordy Presnell, the same on the women's basketball side. So the stability has been a theme as Jeremiah Dickey, the athletic director, walks over to our table as soon as we say stability, almost fitting. But it is a luxury for Boise State to have Leon Rice in his 14th season.
I couldn't agree more with you there, Chris. Think about Leon for me, as college sports tackles the NIL and transfer portal era, many teams are taking a step back. Boise State has taken a massive step forward. Leon Rice has been pushing the right buttons.
See if the buttons are correct in this second half. Taking care of the ball, I'm sure, was mentioned in the locker room. Nick, as you nod your head. You've been in that halftime locker room. Stanley, off balance. Tip back, no. And Aaron Scott vacuums in the North Texas rebound.
Mentioned it before in the first half, but I think Tim Duryea, offensive coach for Boise State, really going to get the ball in the hands of Max Rice and see if he can get going here in the second half, as we see a big rejection by Omar Stanley with the Broncos on the attack.
Offside block, well done. Rice, no, and he hit his head somewhere along the process there as he's holding the back of his head. The officials stopped play. Don't think it was on the way down, though you might be able to get another look at that, but he is certainly in pain. All Mountain West second team a season ago. Max Rice.
Such a tough kid. Man, has he developed during his time at Boise State. He went from what was, more or less a walk-on player to being one of the premier teams in the league, battling for a first-team spot on the All Mountain West team. Awesome to see him get up off the floor here and walk to the bench. Looks like they are going to maybe have a little further evaluation here, though.
Yeah, I feel like if the reaction is grabbing the back of the head on the injury mechanic, you'll certainly take a beat to be examined on the sideline. So that's indeed what happens. And R.J. Keene is the Boise State player who enters, the redshirt sophomore from the Woodlands, Texas, against North Texas. Reuben Jones is fouled. It's funny, Eric Curry shook his head as he blew the whistle, as if to say, no, R.J. Keene, you're not allowed to do what you just did.
Pretty easy call there from Ref Curry there, and it's always great getting a bit of animation from the refs out there as a player, but it seemed like a pretty easy call for him to make.
Keene again defending, this time his arms back, and Jones takes advantage. So one trip, you get the foul, so you go right back at the matchup and take advantage to put North Texas in front. Reuben Jones is 6, comes in averaging 11. Whiting, hesitation, acceleration to get the layup up and in.
Done a great job this year coming off the bench to start the year and entering the starting lineup past couple of games, but he shot the ball really well, and he just needs to be more aggressive on the court. Does a great job passing the ball around to his teammates as well.
His mom, Amber, head coach, women's basketball at BYU, so basketball certainly in the family. When it comes to Jace Whiting, who gets it off the miss.
Gosh, one of the more competitive families you'll come across. His dad played professionally overseas. His younger sister, an outstanding basketball player in her own right, going to play at BYU. A very competitive family.
The mentioned Amber took that jump from Idaho high school basketball to being the head coach at BYU, which was certainly something that made my eyebrows raise a bit. But BYU always competitive now in the Big 12. And the conference realignment, the trickle down as North Texas moves up to the American Conference from Conference USA, where last year they finished second in Conference USA. Abo, rise and fire, connects.
That hit the backboard?
That looked like it kissed the backboard there going in.
We have cameras in the building. We can take another look.
20 points for Chibuzo Abo.
When they're going in, keep shooting them.
Right, man. Now 4 of 5 from 3.
Whiting is guilty there.
I hope we get that replay. I'd love to know, but very impressive kissing it off the backboard from the corner on a three-point shot.
Yeah, as a shooter, you don't want that replay, right?
Yeah. If it goes in, that's all that matters.
See if you can see the laces on the ball move here.
Oh, that's going to be a tough one to be able to judge from that angle. Corner 3, North Texas off the mark from Jason Edwards. And a loose ball foul underneath. It's called on Boise State, much to the dismay of the crowd here at Extra Mile. Already the third team foul of the second half is Stanley. Picks up foul number 3.
A couple of cheap fouls from Stanley, and I know the Broncos believe him in comparisons to Smith of last year, but he's got to take a step back and not give up 2 cheap fouls as he did in the first half and now start the second half.
Looked like Smith there getting a steal. Great cut, Dagenhart can't corral it. Ball off the body of question mark. Off of Boise State. No, check it. It's going to be off of North Texas. Stays here. Eric Curry pointed towards the scorer's table to signal substitutions coming on, including Roddy Anderson. Also, Martin comes in at the center spot. And Kobe Young, who had back-to-back half-court shots. Shoot around today.
You were here that early?
I was, yes.
Of course you were.
Absolutely. Gotta be here, see what the fellas are up to. Stays here with 3 to shoot. But no, it's always fun, and it's a privilege of the job to be able to watch practices of teams throughout college basketball. And I will say that Boise State has one of the more upbeat day of shoot-arounds, including the traditional half-court shots for the entire staff. Not just the team, the entire staff going each way. One side of the court, the other side of the court. Everyone from the players to the coaches to the staff on hand. Scoop layup for Degenhart, no, but a foul before the shot clock horn expired.
I was going to say coaches wouldn't be too happy with 2 in a row there from Young, but I'm just going to say Coach Rice cheats every time. Over the halfway court line every single time. He hits it, it does not count.
You mentioned Kobe checking in, by the way. Boise State has now used 10 players. 6th straight game, they've used 10 guys. Utilizing that bench once again, something unique to this year's team.
You rarely see a whistle while the shooter has the basketball in his hands. So you know it must be a procedural issue that they want to examine.
As you mentioned,
wow, they granted a timeout. So it is our media stoppage, so that would make sense. 37-33, Boise State has the advantage. Back and forth throughout the night so far. North Texas and Boise State each trading blows. This is North Texas making an early first half run. Boise State countered. Second chance effort by Chibuzo Abo, not to mention his play from behind the arc, stepping into this 3. 7 lead changes and a couple of ties so far in this one.
Back and forth battle between the Mean Green and the Broncos. Expect this to continue to happen into the second half, with both teams being strong defensively, getting cumulative stops that lead to offense. So I can see that this is going to continue into the second half.
Housekeeping on that last action. So the officials blew the whistle when Degenhart had the ball at the free throw line. They actually went to the monitor to take a look at whether the foul occurred before or after the shot clock expired. They ruled it occurred after the shot clock expired, meaning no free throws, shot clock violation against Boise State. North Texas takes over this possession. So they used the correct mechanic, just waited a little bit extra than you typically would, waited till the free throw shooter actually had the ball to do it. North Texas is Scott misses a jumper, Abo on the run with the rebound. Whip to the corner, Anderson 3 in and out. This game has been played in a 13-point window. Largest lead for North Texas was the 8-0 lead to start the game. Boise State's largest lead, 5. Scott falling away, gets the teardrop to go.
Boise Bronco defense on the pick and roll, really forcing them on to keep them on the same side, but North Texas has done a great job figuring that out. Couple of threes as we see another deflection, turnover.
Robert Allen finds the cutting Edwards.
Yeah, some miscommunication there, obviously. Roddy Anderson not happy about it. He has 5 turnovers. Played 11 minutes, 5 turnovers for Roddy.
What Roddy's upset about is, no passes don't. Make sure you step towards the ball, even though that ball's coming, you might be wide open. See a missed 3 there from Arbor, but Mean Green doing a great job in the lanes, thinking that passing lanes are wide open, but they're there in the nick of time.
Edwards, fadeaway J for the junior college transfer. All-American junior college a season ago. Tied at 37.
Awaiting our 8th lead change of this game.
Rice, back iron, still won't fall. They call it travel on the way down, but not keep the footing. So Robert Allen, who is a board magnet, this is a guy who off the bench averages 8 rebounds per game. Gets the rebound, but also a turnover.
Just finding ways to contribute. Defense and offensive rebound, unfortunately, they're hitting the ground with the travel, but doing a great job securing that defensive rebound and only allowing 1 offensive chance.
He is 5th in the nation in rebounds off the bench. Tough pass in traffic. Anderson, another turnover. So it's been a struggle for Roddy Anderson, a sophomore transfer from UC San Diego. Can't find a rhythm here.
Yeah, this is a tough comparison because he's taken over for Marcus Shaver Jr., a 6-year senior, meant a lot to this program. When Shaver transferred into Boise State, he was already going into his 4th year of college, had an entire redshirt year to sit out, learn the system. Very different situations for Roddy and Marcus Shaver Jr. entering this program, but the comparison is going to be natural considering they play the same position.
Both had quite a resume in the leagues that they were in before, but of course the Mountain West is an adjustment. We saw Shaver, the process for him to eventually get to the player that he was by the end of his time at Boise State. And now that same kind of process for Anderson is starting here in his first month as a Bronco.
He'll get there for sure. I really believe it. He is a crazy athlete. He rolled over to the blue, kicked a 50-yard field goal barefooted. I saw him play in the team softball game. He was dropping bombs from both the left side and right side of the plate. And, oh, yeah, basketball is apparently his best sport.
Must be nice
Yeah,
to have
kidding.
options. Just an athlete. Reuben Jones gives North Texas the lead at the free throw line. And then a whistle. You can see the tap of the chest from Aaron Scott. And a smirk from Leon Rice. First team foul against North Texas of the second half.
Chris, check this out. 8 lead changes in this game, right? North Texas has led for 11 minutes, 13 seconds. Boise State has led for 11 minutes and 13 seconds.
Wow.
Doesn't get any more even than that.
Yes. Great game. Non-conference ExtraMile Arena. 2 great teams that hope to be playing in March in the big tournament. Corner 3. Abo got it. He is on fire. That extra mile.
Great job of the Broncos moving that basketball, creating that one more pass that the Broncos in practice do often, looking for that one extra pass and finding the hot man.
Reuben Jones right back at him, going head-to-head.
Booza, one short of a career high. Had 24 points in a game early last season.
Anderson trying to get out of that trap in the corner, taking care of the ball. Degenhart, Sissoko, going head-to-head. And Degenhart up and under move. No. Great job, Sissoko on defense. Guy who grew up playing soccer. Came to the United States, Sissoko, at 16 years old, all by himself. Didn't know much English, just had a suitcase, no coat, and came over and made it work. Meanwhile, a foul called on Boise State on this end. That is the 5th team foul already against Boise State.
Broncos just getting caught a little bit on defense, not moving their feet. I believe that's the 3rd foul to start the half where it's a blocking foul. Mean Green trying to drive, attack, creating that foul.
Mentioned it in the first half, strength on strength. North Texas, 2nd best road winning percentage last 3 years. Fadeaway goes, step back from Edwards, a long 2. Boise State, a 16-game home winning streak, tied for the 6th longest right now in the nation. Martin Seals, steps, maneuvers, can't lay it in. Crowd wanted a foul. Jones to try to give his team a 2-possession lead and does it. Jones turning on the Jets here in this second half, and North Texas has their largest lead of the second half. 44-40, the Mean Green with the lead in Boise. Nick Duncan, what have you seen from Reuben Jones in this second half?
He's usually the facilitator with 32 assists on the year, but done a great job really attacking that pick and roll action. Broncos really trying to force that baseline, keeping the ball on one side. Doing a great job attacking, and he's got to continue to do that here in the second half. 13 points, 6 from 11, 0 from 2 from the three-point line, but doing a lot inside the paint.
We'll see how well he's taking care of the ball over the last couple of weeks. Really, it's only a matter of time before Jones becomes the winningest player ever in North Texas. 79 career wins coming into this game. Boise State can't get it in, so they have to burn a timeout. 86 wins is what the record is at North Texas. So he is closing in on that number, and given the winning percentage of the Mean Green over the last few years, it's just a matter of time. With that timeout, we'll take one as well. Boise State down 4. First year in the American Athletic Conference after 10 years in Conference USA. North Texas last year, not just second in Conference USA with a 16-4 record, they were the NIT champs. Conference USA, by the way, were great in the NIT. They beat UAB in the championship. 31 wins, a program record, and their head coach took the Texas Tech job, and Grant McCaslin. So Ross Hodge in his first year leading the way, the longtime assistant. Now in his first year with the Mean Green, that same defense, though, carrying over to another season.
One stat that really stood out to me, there's not one guy on the roster that's over 6'10". You kind of watch their defense. It looks like they play a lot bigger than what they really are on the court, and kind of fascinating stat.
They don't let anything go easy. You can see how aggressive they are off the ball screens. Degenhart whips. Martin receives. 3 to shoot. Martin needs an outlet. He'll just shoot it. Did hit the rim. Or maybe it didn't. Shot clock violation. Thought it might have grazed the left side of the rim, but the official, Michael Reed, said no.
We talk so much about North Texas on defense. On offense is where they have been really efficient to start the second half. In the first half, they relied on getting offensive rebounds to generate offense. In the second half, though, haven't really needed them, shooting almost 60% from the floor here in the second half.
4-point advantage. Largest lead was 8, and that was at the start of the game. They scored the game's first 8. Nolan had a great first half, uses the hezzy, flicks it with the right hand off the front of the rim. Can Rice get going for Boise State? Still scoreless. 0 for 5 shooting. Open here, rainbow 3, ends the drought.
Right on cue.
Came into this game just 6 for 31 from 3 and missed his first 3 in this one.
That had to feel good to see that go down if you're Max Rice.
Jones working Whiting, 15 on 15. Degenhart's help, well-timed, forces a turnover. Rice trying to go for back-to-back. Great defensive recovery from Matthew Stone, who's into the game for North Texas. Degenhart on the block. So comfortable there. Shoulder into the body of the defender to draw the foul. And Degenhart, a 79% free throw shooter, will head to the line.
This season got off to a little bit of an interesting start for Tyson. A week before the first game of the season, took an elbow in practice, broke his nose. They had to order him a mask to wear for the first few games.
I thought you were going to say they had to order him a new nose. That's surprised they would have it Black Friday sale
right?
on Amazon.
Those are probably available. Either way, finally healthy enough to be able to take off the mask. You know, you look at his shooting percentages. Last year he was, 55%.
Yeah.
This year to start, below 42%. I know you don't want to make excuses, but wearing that on your face, it had to have affected him at least a little bit.
I think he liked the nickname of Batman on his social media pages, but I did speak to him earlier in the week and did give him some troubles, just visibility, feel as well on the court, and broke my nose back in 2015, 2016 as well, and spoke to him about that. And it's pretty tough as a player getting out there with that on, something that doesn't feel comfortable. But I think he's pretty happy to have that thing off.
What doesn't feel comfortable? Is it like fogging up? Is it you're still worried about getting hit there?
I think it's a combination of all. Obviously, breaking a nose and doesn't feel great, and obviously some concern that if it gets re-hit and extending damage from that. But I think just feeling it and just visibility out of it. Sometimes it can cut off some visibility.
Allen, size advantage. Wants it again. Allen bumps off to the right, but he'll head to the line. Not the first time Robert Allen has faced Boise State. Back when he was at Ole Miss, squared off against the Broncos in the 2021 Charleston Classic.
Gosh, that's foul number 4 for Omar Stanley. fouled out of last game. He's only played 12 minutes this game. He's had a really tough time developing a rhythm because he can't stay on the floor due to foul trouble. That was definitely a key coming into this game. They needed to keep Omar out of foul trouble, and they have struggled to do so tonight.
So Stanley does head out of the game. The Jeremiah Dickey, big head. I forget the name of that one. Do they have a specific name for those?
We'll just go with that there,
Big
Chris.
heads? I don't know.
That sounds good.
Blown up big heads?
It is a big head.
I feel like there's a better name to describe it. Can't think of it. It's distracting, though, is what it is. Abo, high rise triple. Finally a miss. Loose ball foul underneath. Push off on Scott. And they hit him with a tech. They did. So Eric Curry wasn't having anything of Scott's reaction to that foul on the push-off.
You mentioned at the start of the game, one of the focal points is crashing the glass. And speaking of Mike Burns at the very start of the season before the Vanguard game, the added depth and playing so many guys, they want their guys going 100% on the offensive glass, trying to create as many possessions as they can and rotate through guys and continue to do that all game is a great way to add extra possessions and extra points as we see Max Rice knocking down the first free throw.
Kind of a big call right there, though.
Yes.
Motion getting the best of him, and now they surrender the lead because of it.
You're right. It's such a big moment. It's so tough to score in the half court on North Texas when their defense is set. You have Scott, not only the foul, technical foul is a personal, so that's now 3 on the team's leading scorer, so he has to be careful on this end. Abo in the mid-range. Front iron, great tip of a rebound, but a whistle and a foul on Boise State. It might be on Max Rice. No, they get Meadow. Meadow with that push. That's a good call. You can see it there with our replay. Meadow into the back of the player boxing out.
Crowd not loving it, but that was a clear push in the back, obviously trying to get to that offensive glass, but North Texas doing a great job blocking out, obviously noticing the uptick in energy from the offensive glass in the Broncos.
And it is the 7th team foul against Boise State, so the 1-and-1, Jason Edwards, a 90% free throw shooter. 2 for 2. On the seesaw here, up and down. Right now, North Texas, the 1-point lead. How about this lineup for Boise State without any of the traditional lead guards on the floor?
Yeah, good point. Yeah, I mean, Max playing the point, this is a little bit of an experimental lineup.
No Whiting and no Anderson, but there is a Dagenhart.
Great job there, Dave Dagenhart. Abo's really taken over the offensive side, especially in the first half, but the glue guy coming off a 17-point game against St. Mary's as we see and hear the crowd get into it.
You're right, Nick. The loudest the crowd has been, other than Spencer Danielson being introduced at halftime. Wing 3, no from Jones. Every rebound in this game feels like a war. Held ball, Arrow will keep it with North Texas.
See the Bronco defense changing it up a little bit, heading into a 2-3 zone. North Texas doing a great job of sealing in, finding the wide open 3. Spoke to Mike Burns earlier, and something they do in the second half just to try to throw off the defense as we see them back into man zone on the man defense, I should say, on the baseline out of play and play.
Edwards, his pass is picked. Rice, one-on-one, is rejected. Aaron Scott flies and sends it out of bounds.
That was impressive. Crowd
Yeah, that
calling
was.
crowd calling for.
Look at him time this.
That's nasty. Now, of course, the crowd thinking it's on the way down and it should have been a goaltend. But that's the defensive effort from North Texas that we've seen in each of the last 3 seasons.
Yeah, you just mentioned it, Chris. North Texas is so hard to score on when you get back in the half-court set, right? Boise State looked like they're going to have a run-out bucket. Now you got to inbound it and go up against this North Texas defense.
Edwards hounding Keene. Rice off a screen. Trips and is fouled. Now, the question is, was it in the act of shooting? It's just the 15th foul called against North Texas, and this will likely be a baseline inbounds.
Don't see the three-point shot going in. It's the way to get to the line, obviously, expecting maybe to get some free throws out of it, but it's how you get that rhythm back on the shot, continue to attack, opens up and creates opportunities on the three-point line.
Third foul on Jones. Degenhardt off his screen, triggers, and hits! Tyson Degenhardt from downtown, and Boise State opens up a 4-point lead.
These teams continuing to trade blows, Nick. Boise State back up 4.
The last 3 seasons, when the goings get tough, Degenhardt gets going.
Arbo stole the show in the first half, but Tyson's really stepped up here in the second half. See here in that three-point shot. 3 from 5 in the second half, 8 points. I think they're going to really rely on him to close out this game, really get the ball into his hands.
It's funny, you guys. It feels like Degenhardt emotionally can go from 0 to 100 real quick. Like, it can be, at times, some of the most stoic positions that you can be in, and then all of a sudden, snapping the fingers, he's yelling and screaming.
That's him, man. You know, you mentioned that one of the North Texas players is chasing the all-time wins record in their program history. It is a matter of time before he does that. I'm talking about Tyson Degenhardt here at Boise State. Kellen Moore was a popular name on the football field, right? He is the basketball version of Kellen Moore for the Broncos.
That is high praise, and that is an incredible 3-off movement for Jason Edwards. He averages 13.5 points off the bench, and in this game, he's put up 14. Meadow got the reverse. Are you serious? Andrew Meadow, stand up.
Man, the spin on that, the English on that. I don't know how he got that ball to roll in.
Jones bullies to the rim and will get the benefit of the call, and will head to the free throw line.
Feel there's energy in this game, just ramping up a little bit here. See Jones really attacking the hoop. He's been doing that all game, getting downhill, going the line.
Flexing his knee after hitting the ground. Degenhardt out of position. Reuben Jones. He's the player that, Jay, you were mentioning, is chasing the all-time North Texas win record. Big part of it, 14 points in this game, 6 for 12 shooting. The senior from Houston. All-conference defense last year in Conference USA. Will look to do it in the American Athletic Conference this season.
Pretty balanced effort scoring-wise on North Texas's part. 3 guys in double figures for the Mean Green.
Had it hit off the hands of Degenhardt. Boise State's done a better job in this second half of taking care of the ball, but that is another turnover in number 17.
We get deeper into this second half. Obviously, Boise State last year won a lot of close games and really relied on their defense for that. And I think we'll see both teams try to lock down, see Reuben Jones again attacking that baseline, getting to the free throw line. Supreme confidence there. So we see the replay here. Attacking RJ Keene on that baseline, returning to the line.
Nick, he really does seem like a hard player to stick one-on-one. He has all the dribble moves to get to the rim.
Been a facilitator to start the year, leading the team with 32 assists, but tonight, different player, really built that confidence from the first half and feels like he can get to the line or the bucket anytime he gets the ball.
North Texas leaving a little bit at the free throw line in this game, 8 for 13. Tied at 53. These teams can't separate from each other. It's led to a good one. Degenhardt against Allen. Step through move. Gorgeous from Degenhardt.
Back to the well for Degenhardt. Does a great job with his footwork inside. Might not be the most athletic four-man in the country, but does a great job getting players off balance and jumping on his shot fakes.
Last year played more 5 than 4. This year back in that familiar power forward position. Jones could not get it to go. Boise State on the run. Degenhardt examines. Keene had Abo in the corner, didn't see him. Abo going to work with the bat to the basket, draws the foul on Jones. And for Jones, that is his 4th. That's a big call with 6:08 to go in the second half. Team foul number 6.
Roddy Anderson back in the lineup, and talk about obviously spreading out minutes for the Broncos, but Leon has a tendency to leave some teams out there once they get their rhythm. First substitution since the 10-minute mark.
And Jay, this feels like a big stretch in the game. Now Jones heads to the bench, who's really been the initiator all game long, both passing and scoring for North Texas. Right now Anderson needs to get rid of it for the 5 seconds, cannot do it. So that is another turnover resulting with the ball in Anderson's hand.
Man, tough night for Roddy Anderson. Again, a lot of confidence that this kid is going to grow into a player that the program can really lean on, but the growing will continue through tonight as he commits his 7th turnover in just over 10 minutes of action.
Wow. Edwards will have to be up to him with Jones on the bench, as well as Aaron Scott, leading scorer on the season. Takes out his do-it-yourself kid, fadeaway Jay, no. Boise State was the last to touch. North Texas was 7 to shoot.
See Meadows bringing some great minutes off the bench. He's been up and down with his minutes played, but, I mean, there's one thing for sure, talking to the coaching staff, he's going to bring 100% every minute he plays out there.
Catch and shoot, Scott, bullseye. Aaron Scott, 46% three-point shooter this year, over 50% going back to his last 17. And it's 56-55, North Texas by 1, 5:15 to go.
14 lead changes. This is wild.
What we expected to see. 2 good teams, competitive game. Degenhardt in and out. Allen scoops it up.
Mentioned the lead changes. 14 minutes, 52 lead time for the Broncos. 15 minutes trailing throughout the game. 5 minutes tied. I mean, it couldn't be any closer.
10 to shoot. Edwards, no shot, fouled before the shot, but for Boise State, it is their 10th team foul, so the double bonus. 2 free throws for the Mean Green.
Continual pressure driving these lanes. Whether that was a scouting issue or looking into it, but Mean Green's done a great job of just attacking, getting down the lanes. Broncos staying with the corner 3, trying not to help out. See their 10 fouls, putting a lot of foul pressure on the Broncos.
3rd on Anderson. Edwards, 90%er. Hasn't hit rim yet at the free throw line.
Almost automatic, isn't it?
You know your career percentage? You're a good shooter.
Wasn't 90%.
90's pretty good. Keene is back in. Second free throw goes as well. It's been a while since we've seen Jace Whiting on the floor for Boise State. So it's again another lineup without your traditional point guard, with Anderson struggling. He's on the bench. Rice handling the ball. Degenhardt can handle it a little bit for a big. Against Scott, gets the step. Foul before the shot. The 7th team foul against North Texas. So the 1-and-1 for Degenhardt.
Gosh, seems like a point in time in the game, too, where you would love to have a traditional point guard on the floor. I mean, that's probably pretty much any point in time in the game, but down with 4:22 left, 3-point game.
And that last foul, Jay, was against Aaron Scott, so that is his 4th. So Scott with 4, Jones with 4 for North Texas, perhaps the team's top 2 players. Scott heads to the bench. Degenhardt's front end. Got it.
Big free throw, earn another one now.
16-game home winning streak for Boise State on the line. Down 2, 4:22 left. Big and Hart. It's both. 4:20 left, 58-57, North Texas.
16-game home winning streak on the line for the Broncos, and their fan base starting to feel it here, trying to provide them with one last lift down the home stretch.
Edwards, front rim. Allen gets the board, the offensive rebound for the Mean Green. Edwards again. No, Allen once more secures and throws it away. Abo gets the steal. Boise State a chance to go in front.
Broncos have done a good job on the defensive glass in the second half. They escaped right there with back-to-back offensive rebound by the Mean Green.
But that was a mistake by Keene. Degenhardt upsets. Boise State turnover. Don't go away. Time to buckle up. We're in for a good finish. 14 lead changes, 8 ties. Right now it's North Texas trying to end the 6th longest home winning streak in the country. And no better fitting team to do it. North Texas, the 2nd best road winning percentage in the country over the last 3 seasons.
Exactly how we expected this game to play out. Tight, low-scoring game. We've been harping on it all game. It really seems as if the defense is really going to shine through at the end, and who can create consecutive stops, put some points on the board here in the final 4 minutes.
Only Houston has a better road winning percentage over that stretch. Jason Edwards, new to this North Texas team from Dodge City College, lays it in right out of the timeout. North Texas up 3.
God, I feel like North Texas has been so good out of timeouts today.
Credit to Coach Ross Hodge. Rice misses a 3, a travel on the way down for North Texas. And Reuben Jones, who is back in with 4 personals.
Boise State hasn't scored a field goal in the last 3.5 minutes, trailing by 3. Who answers the call here for the Broncos?
Scott is also back in for North Texas with 4 fouls. He's defending on the ball, Degenhardt. Sure, Degenhardt knows Scott's foul situation. Chisel space, help comes. Degenhardt stuck, layup with the right, sit back, that won't fall. Martin is fouled, and if that's on Scott, that is his 5th. And it is.
Big loss for the Mean Green.
No, actually, I see the signal from Curry, the official, not signaling 1. He says 15, which is Reuben Jones. That is his 5th.
That's their leading scorer tonight.
So both of those players, Scott and Jones, talk about a dramatic moment on the side of North Texas. It was one of those guys who's going to get a 5th foul. It is Reuben Jones who fouls out.
Check that, by the way. Jones has 16. Edwards has 18. Either way, that's a costly loss for North Texas.
So it didn't even really last a full defensive possession after being reinserted into the game under 4 minutes left with North Texas leading. Martin was fouled. Back rims the first. Quick reset. Boise State with 1 timeout left. North Texas with a couple. The Broncos 10-team fouls, which means the double bonus for North Texas. Boise State still 1 foul away from getting into the double bonus on their side. North Texas 18 fouls. Martin makes the second 2-point game. Aggressive hedge. Abu commits the foul, and we just mentioned the double bonus. 2 free throws for North Texas.
Great awareness there. See Abo showing out there, doing a great job getting into that hip, selling it a little bit, but getting to the line for the 1-and-1.
71% free throw shooter. It is shooting 2, double bonus, and gets the roll on the first. So Scott heads to the bench for North Texas. Second free throw goes for Nolan. 4-point lead. That is the largest lead of the second half. This game is played in such a tight window, especially in half two.
I want to call it a two-possession game, but Chibuzo Wabo's been fouled shooting 3 threes, so maybe not.
Maybe one.
Degenhardt doubled. Rice sees 2 as well. That's just a great defense, and then he throws it away. He thought Anderson would be in the corner. He was not. Giveaway with 2:25 left. North Texas the ball on a 4-point lead.
Mean Green defense showing up again. Doing a great job forcing him towards the corner baseline. Doing a great job double teaming there. Fortunate pass there by Rice, but defense showing up again.
And Anderson too aggressive there. That's a foul on Roddy Anderson. His rough night continues. 4 fouls. And that sends Edwards, a 90% free throw shooter, to the line for 2.
Tough break for the Broncos. Multiple fouls beyond the 3-point line. Just cheap, easy points for North Texas at the line.
Edwards is the one taking advantage. He is 6 for 7 from the free throw line. And Edwards isn't even hitting rim. 6-point lead. Largest of half two.
Big possession for the Broncos offense. See if they get Degenhardt involved as we see.
Then it's Edwards getting a piece of the ball on that tight pressure defense. And did Boise State get a timeout in? They did. All the way from the sideline, but that is a costly timeout. I believe that is their last.
Man, no true point guard once again. Boise State struggling to deal with the pressure. Got lucky right there to get the timeout before they turned it over.
Looks like Anderson's going to check back in to fill that point guard role. Obviously, from the 10-minute mark in, they had a good stretch without that point guard position, but as the game gets closer towards the end of the game, you really need that point guard on. Facilitate, get that ball up the court, especially against this pressure defense from the Mean Green.
Well, it is a tough situation for Coach Leon Rice, guys. I mean, we haven't seen Jace Whiting in a while, so you have to imagine his availability is at least a question for these last couple of minutes. And then the Roddy Anderson struggles, especially in this second half. He's your other point guard. So your options are, okay, Anderson or no traditional point guard against a team that is one of the best defensive teams in the half court in college basketball.
We knew that was a position they were going to have to find answers to coming into the season with Marcus Shaver Jr. moving on last year. And they have struggled at that spot tonight against a team you can't struggle at that spot against.
You saw the note there, 16-game home winning streak on the line. Boise State looking to stay above 500. They come in 4-3. North Texas at 5-2. The defending NIT champions with the lead. Degenhardt weaves, spins, is blocked but fouled.
Just does a great job with his footwork, staying on balance, moving around. Sometimes he takes 1-2 seconds, flirts with the 3 seconds in the paint. As you see here, just a great job getting them off balance, getting to the line. Tyson continued to taking over the second half here for the Broncos on offense.
Second foul on Stone in the act, shooting 2, Degenhardt. And he can't get the first. Omar Stanley coming back in for Boise State, and with 4 fouls, Aaron Scott playing some offense-defense is Coach Ross Hodge to bring in the guy with 4 fouls, the team's leading scorer.
Mentioned Stanley coming back into the game. It'd be interesting to see if the Broncos maybe put some full court pressure on, create some turnovers as we see here. Full court, man-to-man, see if they can disrupt the Mean Green.
There is that trap. Pressure in the corner. Tough for Edwards. Not the way. They'll re-trigger. Then who to inbound? Nolan will do the honors on the floor with Bugs. Edwards, Scott, and Allen. Flicks. Allen catches. Not much of a ball handler. Nolan is across the timeline. 100 seconds left. North Texas, the ball in a 5-point lead. A patient team anyway. Of course they will late with a lead. Edwards sees Anderson, lines him up, flat down to 5, sidestep 3, front iron. Collision on the board, and Allen gets the rebound and a foul called. And it's called on North Texas. Looks like Allen might have been the guilty party.
Obviously love the hustle there.
It's actually on Scott. 5th foul on Aaron Scott. He is done.
Gosh, if you get this thing to overtime, you like your chances, but Boise State's still got to shrink this gap in a hurry. I know you don't really care about individual efforts at times like this, but Chibuzo Abo a chance to tie his career high.
And that one rattles out. Boise State 13 for 19 from the free throw line.
There we go. Tried to cue him up. So the Broncos back into full court pressure. Down 4 with 1:20 left.
Knocked away. Degenhart got a beast. Great job scooping it up by Edwards. Zooms. Up top. Layup. No. Off the hands of Allen. Boise State ball. How about the decision there for Edwards to go quickly with 1:12 left for his team with a 2-possession lead. He tried Stanley. It didn't work.
Obviously 2-on-1 might have been better option to pass there, but as you mentioned, up 4, 1:20 left, might be something to pull that ball back out, use the clock, try to spend it down and get a better shot towards the end, given the Broncos 40 seconds left.
Took almost 39 minutes to get there, but again, we likened Omar Stanley to Najee Smith. Najee made all these like little game-winning plays at times for the Broncos last year, so the newcomer flashing for the blue and orange.
So the officials are taking a look at whose hand was the last to touch, and they confirm that it is Boise State ball off the hands of Robert Allen. You can take a look at the monitor under 2 minutes. And the officiating crew of Michael Reed, Eric Curry, and Marcus Pettigrew. They say it's Boise State ball. Feels like I'm gotta have it possession, and you gotta get it in. Again, without your usual point guard. In fact, they bring back in Anderson. So Anderson, who is a point guard at the controls, crosses over to the right hand.
1 minute left of regulation.
Crowd on their feet. High rise. Abo connects. It's a 1-point game.
Boise State moving the ball around and going under the screen on Abo probably wasn't the smartest.
Degenhart tips it off the body of North Texas. Boise State with the ball and a chance to go in front. They'll take a look with 51.9. All set up by the 3 by Abo, a new career high, 27. And now after that trap, there's a chance Boise State has the ball and a chance to come from behind.
It would be a massive turnover if it stands. We'll see if it does. What a late push by the Broncos, though. Just to get it back to this point, a 1-point game, 51 seconds left. Who does this go off of, Chris?
That's a tough one to see. It looked like the hands and fingers of Anderson and Edwards were involved.
Worth noting, the call is in Boise State's favor on the floor at the moment. Do they see enough to overturn it?
There is not a person in their seats right now at ExtraMile Arena. And they're all looking at the officials who are looking at this replay. Yeah, that one, again, it's just hard to tell
I don't want to be making that decision.
Of the last, Degenhart tipped it initially. We know that. Now it's whether it deflected off of the fingers of either Edwards or Anderson as that ball was going out of bounds.
You could kind of see it take that one last kind of change of direction, and we got a big call coming up here.
Usually you could tell from the reaction of the coaches before you even get their point from the referee.
They're taking a while to look at this. A game-changing type of call.
Another angle. I don't see anything. Like, if it's up to me to have an opinion, like, I would have to go with the call that was on the floor. Like, I haven't seen an angle yet that definitively changes what the call was.
I agree with you.
51.9 left.
So here we go.
We're about to get the call as Marquez Pettigrew comes over. The
59.1 seconds
from
left.
Marquez Pettigrew was there was no angle with indisputable evidence to overturn the call, so they're going to stick with what was on the floor, and that was Boise State ball. 50.9 is what the clock says. Then they move it up to 52.5. That's the second part of the review. Boise State inbounds down 1. In a game that's had 14 lead changes, 8 ties, Boise State with a chance to go in front. Degenhart in his office, draws the help, 3 around him, up with it anyway, draws the foul in the act. It's the 10th team foul anyway. So 2 free throws coming for Degenhart, who at the line 4 for 7 in this game, can give Boise State the lead. Foul on Stone. That is his 3rd. Tie game. North Texas with 2 timeouts left. Both teams in a double bonus. Boise State without any timeouts remaining. Boise State by 1.
Man, Degenhart has been in so many battles, ready for this moment. 2 massive free throws for the blue and orange. Can they get one more stop?
Timeout call by North Texas. Ross Hodge will talk it over. Boise State has rallied back with a 7-0 run over the last minute 15 to go up 1, 65-64.
Right when you want to count them out, they flex their muscles and show why they are so hard to beat here at ExtraMile Arena. 16 straight wins on their home floor, riding on the line.
Now, again, when you think about this possession, North Texas, Reuben Jones, he's fouled out. He's the team's leading playmaker, and in this game has been a scorer as well. Aaron Scott, team's leading scorer this season, he's fouled out. He would be the go-to guy. So where does North Texas turn to? Well, this is all thanks to Abo's 3 to pull Boise State within 1. Abo, what a night. 27 points, a career high for the Texas Tech transfer.
Can't go underneath that 3. Shooting get the ball in Edwards' hands, thinking about double bonus as well for the Broncos.
Noland attacks, kicks, corner, 3, short from Buggs. Rebound scooped up by Rice, and a foul. 21.6 left, will off the length of the floor. Rice will shoot 2 at best. Could make it a 3-point game, and North Texas would have a chance on the backside.
Great offensive play there, getting downhill, getting the Bronco defender to commit, leaving that wide open 3, and you can imagine from that timeout, that's exactly what the Mean Green drew up.
Boise State leads by 2. Three-point lead. North Texas with a timeout left. Boise State full court. Mean Green need a 3. Shot clock turned off. Noland against Abo. Broncos switch. Step back, Nolan for three, air ball. Stanley the rebound. He is fouled. What a run for Boise State.
9-0 run in the final minute and 41 seconds. It's interesting to see if the Broncos look to foul, up 3, sending North Texas to the line, but they stuck with their guns, defended, ended up with the defensive rebound.
With 1:50 to go in this contest, North Texas was up by 6 with the ball, and Boise State has found a way to push their lead out to 3 and a potential to add here.
2-possession advantage with Stanley, who's a 72% free throw shooter. Just his second start as a player on Boise State. Got both. 69-64. An 11-0 run to close. To the lane, Stanley throws it away. How about Omar Stanley on defense?
Coming from the weak side, that athleticism, sending that out of bounds, 1.8 seconds left.
And a 5-point lead. And the Bronco defense makes the final play. Boise State finishes the game on an 11-0 run and increases their win streak at home to 17 games. What a close. Boise State 69, North Texas 64. We'll have more from ExtraMile Arena up next. Boise State with their most impressive stretch in the game when they need it the most. An 11-0 run to finish and get the 69-64 win over North Texas. Crowded table here, and we're joined by Chibuzo Abo, who finished the game with a career high in 27 points. First of all, congratulations on the win. How was the team able to dig deep, down 6 late, to come from behind and win this?
I mean, we just didn't give up. Really, we kept going, and I feel like our chemistry's got better when it was crunch time. So I'm really proud of us for that, because there's going to be a lot of games like that. We're just going to have to dig deep those, last 5 minutes, last 4 minutes. So I think we did a great job coming back.
Talking to Mike Burns, obviously last year, a lot of games won in the final 4 minutes. Today, 11-0 run to finish the game in the final 3 minutes. What do you guys focus on when it comes to crunch time on that defensive end?
Yeah, just getting stops and really communicating. That's the key to our defense. Every time we get on the floor, we're just trying to have 5 guys talking to each other and just making the right reads and no turnovers.
Buzo, man, you put in so much work this offseason. You play 38 hard minutes, go out and score a game high, career high 27 points, massive bucket from 3 late. How does it feel to have the payoff in front of this crowd?
I mean, it feels great. Like, every night I go to sleep, this is what I think about. This is why I dream about basketball. So I just love this. The work I put in is finally starting to show. It just feels good.
Well, Chibuzo, congratulations. What a performance. Fun here at home. Last question, what's it like to play here at home? You protected the home winning streak. Now 17 wins in a row here at ExtraMile.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, we got great fans. They always pack it out no matter who we're playing. So it's a lot of love to them. We just played St. Mary's out there in Idaho Falls, and that thing was packed. It was a home game for us. So Bronco Nation is real.
It's real, and right now it's spectacular. Thanks so much for the time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
And Chibuzo Abo, what a performance.
Chibuzo Abo, man.
27 points. Jay, you're shaking your head. I mean, some of the shots that he made in this game just made your jaw drop.
Yeah.
Fouled while hitting the threes.
Totally, right? Like, there are so many big performances you remember by Boise State basketball players. This game's going to be kind of reminding you of the Chibuzo Abo game. Put him on his back for most of the contest. That is until this man got it going in the second half.
And this man is Tyson Dagenhart joining us at the table post-game. 19 points, still huffing and puffing. That closing stretch, 11 straight. I asked Chibuzo this question. I'll ask you the same. Like, what happened there when the team was down 6 late to have you guys turning around just in time?
We knew we had enough time to come back, and it was just about 1 possession at a time. And I think we really turned up the defensive intensity and really got the stops we needed, and then we had great possession on the offense.
Chibuzo obviously had the first half. Second half really turns it on. 4 from 8, 6 from 8 from the free throw line. What you could see in the St. Mary's game as well, you bring it out in the second half. And when that time's right, you really want the ball get out there as well?
Yeah, just want to make plays, and as much as, anyone wants to win, that's what I want to do.
What have you seen out of Trabuzzo early on in the season? Like, he looks physically different. 38 minutes, again, that big shot late. How proud are you of the work that he put in helping you guys win tonight?
Oh, man, he was incredible. I mean, you can just tell the growth from last year to this year. He looks physically better. He's shooting the ball really, really well, and he's a big part of our team.
Tyson, I look at you, man. You look absolutely exhausted. This feels like a late February type of matchup.
Oh, they're a great team. I think they're going to win a lot of games in the American, and we hope they keep winning so our rankings keep going up.
I got to ask, no mask, how does it feel?
I feel so much better. Not having something in my face and not having to worry about it, it makes things a lot easier.
I want to finish with this. I mean, you in your career have been in adverse situations before, and the team has had comebacks. But for this specific group, to have a result like this early in the year, how can that help the belief in future Mountain West battles?
I think we set up this schedule so we could have situations like this, where we face adversity early in the season and we find ways to get through it. And, there's going to be times when we're on the road in the Mountain West. We're not going to get calls. Shots aren't going to fall, but we just got to lean on our defense, and that's what we did here tonight.
Well, Tyson, another spectacular game for you. Another fun one at ExtraMile Arena for the crowd to enjoy. As always, we appreciate the time. Best of luck going forward.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
There you go. That's Tyson Dagenhart. Well done for Boise State, a 69-64 win, finishing the game on an 11-0 run. So we'll finish it out with thoughts from you guys. I mean, this one looked like this would go into the North Texas win column. It'd be another road North Texas win. But suddenly the Broncos were able to reverse trend, snap their fingers, finish strong, and pull out the win.
See the experience from the Broncos come out there. Arbo at the end there shooting that big three. And obviously their defense coming, allowing 0 points in the final 3 minutes. So go back to last year, they had a lot of games like that, and I feel like that's flowing through into this season as well.
Yeah, clearly this team is destined for special things. But I got to say, their 11-0 run to finish out that game, probably the second most impressive run of what we can talk about right now. Chris Lewis has meant so much to Boise State athletics.
Oh, wow.
And I am so sad to say this, but I'm not going to call it the end of an era because you always have a spot at whatever table you want at here on this campus. But a big move coming up for you, my man.
Indeed. Got another month or so left, but we'll be heading off to the East Coast, heading off to Charlotte. But I don't know how many broadcasts it's been, whether it's women's basketball, men's basketball, gymnastics, volleyball, soccer, softball. It's been about 10 years here. Every moment's been fun. It's been fun working with you, Jay. I haven't really worked many games on play-by-play with you. Nick Duncan, my guy, called some of your games, and now working with you at the table. It's been a fun journey. Never thought I'd be here as long as I have been, but it's been a really fun decade.
I want to try to continue to further embarrass you for a second. Okay. I've got to watch you grow, man. I'm so freaking proud of you. To where you're at today, incredible, bud.
Thanks. Thanks to everybody here at Boise State, too, from who you see in front of the camera to who you see behind the cameras as well. Dominic Shelton, we'll just shout him out, too, who's been a big part of everything Boise State has done video-wise, too, and those reps have certainly helped me get better. I just want to end it on a note about me after all we just saw from Boise State basketball. Ending it about me, but I appreciate it. You guys are my guys. Appreciate it. That's a final from ExtraMile. What a pleasure it was to call this one with you guys. Jay and Nick will be around for some of these more Boise State basketball games on KTVB and the Mountain West Network as the season moves on. Boise State wins it by a final of 69-64. They finish the game on an 11-0 run. For Jay Tuss, Nick Duncan, my name is Chris Lewis. Up next, you can see it there, Boise State against Western Oregon. That game Saturday at 2 p.m. Mountain. For the rest of the crew behind the scenes as well, signing off from ExtraMile Arena, Boise State moves to 5-3 with a 69-64 win against North Texas.